Hi everyone, delonewolf here and welcome back to the Sunday recap, my weekly vlog where I talk a bit about my last week in games, and as always we'll start with some EVE Online. I've had a good average week in EVE Online, I would say, focusing mostly on my preferred activity, which has been exploration. Did quite a few rounds, found a little bit of combat sites, found some good loot as well, so overall I'm pretty happy with the exploration week for me. I used just the Ishtar. I feel really most comfortable using that ship. It's super versatile, of course, can run data sites as well, can run pretty much any combat site that I find there, especially of course the 3 out of 10s, the 4 out of 10s, with potentially that good loot. And with the sentry drones and the mobile tractor unit, I don't have to worry too much about flying manually. We just take everything down from our warping point, we tractor the loot as we always primary that target, and then we move on for some more exploration. That's just how I enjoy doing that at the moment, and that has been my main focus last week. We of course also kept up with the blueprint copy business. That is still selling well, but prices are, I would say, leveling off, maybe coming under a little bit of pressure. Still, the turnover is very quick, so basically if my brother doesn't help me by producing more BPCs, I'm not making enough, and we run out of active contracts. I basically have open slots that could be filled with more sales, so that's actually pretty impressive. We're doing really well on that front. And finally we've got PI, of course, something that I do every single day, and from time to time move the stuff over to Jita. Well, it's just production and hoarding at the moment. Prices are so low that we are going to have to keep the stuff and not sell straight for ISK, especially, and that's to my big surprise, the fuel related PI materials are very difficult at the moment. Those are down in price by quite a lot, 1 year low points for coolants, for mechanical parts, things like that. They're really struggling, and it is of course what I'm mostly focused on, because I always felt like fuel, it's consumption, so you should see a pretty steady amount of destruction of those goods as well, just by being turned into fuels, and then that fuel gets used up. But nope, at the moment they're actually doing worse than a lot of the other PI materials, so that's the bad news. But overall, we're still having fun, and I'm basically looking forward to the new proving grounds that should be coming out next week. I'm really curious to see how that'll work out. We'll try to get something going, of course, so that I can participate. If I'm not mistaken, it's gonna be 2v2 cruisers, so we do need to have a fleet in order to be able to do that. But I'm fully expecting someone will set up a channel that you can just join for chat, that will become the most popular, where you can ask someone to create a fleet with, fly with them, and then keep going like that. So it sounds really interesting. I still need to make some ships though, so I think we will fly off to Jita and perhaps create some Vexors or something like that. Seems really baseline. That should be pretty strong in that first 2v2 proving grounds meta, and then well, we'll take it from there. We'll see what else SCP comes up with, and we'll try to join those as well. And next to EVE Online, because it has been very busy at my real life job, despite the fact that I can work from home every single day, it is very busy, so I do not have that much extra time or energy after doing my EVE Online stuff. So it's been some more Dota Underlords, just something that I can get into and get out of very quickly. I usually play that on, actually I always play that on the casual knockout mode, which is very fast, like 15 minutes for a game. For me, that's absolutely perfect. And well, when you do find the right combinations, you can go very far, and then it becomes super complex and very fun. And you can still find some surprising combinations that work. For instance, last week what I discovered is that if you give Horn of the Alpha, one of the top tier items, to the Arc Warden, his power is that he duplicates himself, and then his duplicate creates another duplicate. Well, every single time he duplicates himself, the Horn of the Alpha actually summons a very powerful beast. It summons a new one, so this way you could have 4 Arc Wardens, I think, potentially in a game. I think that's not completely unrealistic, but you could also have 4 of those summons from Horn of the Alpha, and that is potentially something that is completely overpowered, despite the fact that in that very specific game we were actually countered by a Slark that went completely crazy on everything. So it feels like it's a fun game. It's also pretty damn balanced, and I really like the fact that it's free to play and that it is completely fair at the moment. So it's not like you can purchase anything that would change your draft or that would give you extra power or anything like that. It's all 100% cosmetics, and I think that's a very strong point for Dota Underlords. Compare that to something that I would call it decently similar, something like Hearthstone, a card game where, well, the card packs become part of the monetization model. Here, that is completely not the case. The drafts are basically 100% fair if you assume that the odds in the game are 100% fair as well, and that's it. There's no way to like get better units on your roster or anything like that, which with card games you can have, and that does attract me basically to keep investing a little bit of time in Dota Underlords rather than in a card game or something like that. And basically, that was my last week in games, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time.